A journey, and as I said, even as it relates to writing the book, I went through many, almost, more than a decade of being scrutinized and clowned by law enforcement, them telling me, you need some help. Sex trafficking, really? What's wrong with you? No way, but not realizing that they were also working for the situation.
Yup, it's happening. Albie sure is officially stepping up to the stand, and he's not holding back on anything he knows about Diddy. One thing you gotta give Al credit for. This man has never switched up his story. Word on the street is that Al is one of the key witnesses expected to testify in Diddy's trial. And if he repeats the same stuff he's been saying for years, it's gonna tear right through Diddy's already shaky public image. His whole character's being picked apart in court, and Al's about to add even more heat.
But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely.
But wait, it doesn't stop there. Al's also bringing some fresh info about Kim Porter into the mix. Before Kim got involved with Diddy, she was actually with Al B. Sure, not only did they have Quincy together, but Kim once confirmed that she was the muse behind Al's hit Forever My Lady. That's right, the whole vibe of that song was inspired by her. And here's the kicker. Al says they were actually married.
I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
He first dropped that bombshell in an interview with Fox Soul, where he said, "Every time I post something, I forget. It's me. I'm a grandfather, so my concern is not being popular or chasing numbers and likes. That's not what I do. But I posted something the other day, talking about my ex-wife. Yeah, I said it. My ex-wife, Kimberly. But nobody knew, because we never talked about being married. We didn't discuss that."
Specifically then, that Sean Diddy Combs, or people affiliated with him, did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure.
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Things just got real. Al B sure never stopped paying tribute to Kim Porter. Every now and then, he dropped something heartfelt for her. Despite their split, Al and Kim always kept things cool between them. But let's not sugarcoat it. If anyone has been screaming foul play about Kim's passing, it's been Al from the jump. Remember when that alleged tell-all book of Kim's hit the internet? Al went straight to Instagram and didn't hold back. He reacted to a headline from Extra that read, "Diddy's late ex Kim Porter revealed his twisted secrets and alleged diary entries."
A journey, and as I said, even as it relates to writing the book, I went through many, almost, more than a decade of being scrutinized and clowned by law enforcement, them telling me, you need some help. Sex trafficking, really? What's wrong with you? No way, but not realizing that they were also working for the situation.
Al clapped back in the caption, writing, 2009 through 2018, y'all said Al B sure has lost his mind and told me to sit down. When I repeated this over and over, on the day KP passed, I was ignored by law enforcement, even though she told me out of desperation to watch my back too. Bad things were coming.
But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely.
People laughed it off, saying stuff like Al needs help, claiming he'd lost his mind. But was he actually trying to warn us? Then, in March 2024, Al dropped another bomb. He hinted that Diddy may have had something to do with his mysterious coma back in 2022. And get this, he revealed he's working on a documentary that's supposed to shake up the whole world. But Al's been dropping warning signs for years. Back in November 2021, he even said that Kim was running from something or someone right before her death. He begged her to contact the FBI. And right after that post went up,
I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
It mysteriously disappeared. And it gets even deeper. After that vanished post, Al went radio silent for a minute, but then came back swinging like he never left. In interviews and on social media, he started connecting dots, hinting that the people around Kim might have been involved in something way darker than anyone thought. This wasn't just grief talking. He sounded like a man with receipts.
Specifically then, that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure.
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Al also brought up how Kim had told him she didn't feel safe, that people were watching her, and that something just didn't feel right. He claimed she was scared, paranoid even, and looking for a way out of a situation that was closing in on her. According to him, her energy shifted completely in those final months, like she knew something was coming. Fast forward to now, with Al being pulled into Diddy's trial, suddenly all those old claims are starting to look a lot less crazy. And the fact that he's still standing on his story after all these years, that says something loud. And let's not forget, this is the same Al B. Sure, who said he had to fight for his life during his coma and hinted that certain people didn't want him waking up? What if he knows something huge? What if that's why he's never let go of what happened to Kim? Whatever he's about to say in court might just shake up everything. Al's not the only one raising eyebrows either. Fans and insiders have been revisiting old interviews, piecing together Kim's final days like a crime doc. People are starting to question everything. Why didn't the original investigation go deeper? Why were so many details around her passing just brushed off? And when Al hinted that powerful names were involved in keeping the truth buried, that's when it got real messy. He mentioned coded messages, missing files, and people in high places, making sure certain things stayed quiet. Sounds like a movie script, but he swears it's all facts. Even more suspicious. Al revealed that Kim had plans to speak out before she passed, that she was allegedly preparing to go public with info that could damage reputations, including Diddy's. But just when she was getting ready to tell her story, she was gone. And now that Diddy's on trial, every single thing Al said back then is getting dug back up. This ain't just gossip anymore. This is turning into a full-blown unraveling of secrets that were never meant to see the light. Al's testimony could be the missing puzzle piece. And if it lines up with what insiders are whispering, Diddy might be facing more than just courtroom drama. This could expose a whole chain of events nobody was ready for. Al eventually edited that explosive post. He took out the part about the FBI and switched it up to say Kim had been running a marathon. But people already saw the original, and the damage was done. That edit didn't stop the questions from flooding in. And let's not forget how raw Al was when he talked about the moment he found out Kim had passed. He wrote, "I just found this footage from the morning I learned of at Lady KP's, aka number Kim Porter's death, and how it ripped the soul from my physical body." He didn't hold back. He even called out the pneumonia story for what he believes it really is. That's some BS. Then came the line that shook everyone. "This is where I get in trouble." Al didn't just vent into the void either. He tagged Diddy directly in the post. He wanted him to see it. He reminded everyone that they had just celebrated their son Quincy's Netflix Christmas special and said Kim looked fantastic, happy, healthy, and full of life. Al said she was laughing at the theater while watching him and Diddy share a moment. And then, just like that, she was gone? Now he's bringing that same energy again. Al's planning to release a tell-all memoir this fall, titled Do You Believe Me? And it's about to get real. He promises to reveal deep personal truths, especially about his connection to Diddy. Al even says Diddy's people might have had something to do with his own health crisis, the one that almost killed him. He claims there was a bounty on his head and that when he first tried speaking out, he got hit with serious pushback. But now, he's been subpoenaed in Diddy's trial and says he's ready to testify. Al made it clear, he's not doing this for fame or clout. He said he's living his truth, no matter who it makes uncomfortable. Let's be clear, Al B. sure ain't just pulling stories out of thin air. There are still major questions about Kim Porter's death that nobody's been able to answer. Like, what about the blood? Reports say there was blood on Kim's pillowcases, and a faint trail leading across the bedroom floor straight to the bathroom. That doesn't sound like pneumonia, does it? And here's the kicker. Kim wasn't found in her bed. She was discovered on the bathroom floor. So if she was later found in bed, that means someone moved her there. And why would anyone do that? That alone sends up red flags. Even the original coroner reportedly had concerns. Word is they found a certain toxin in her system that raised major suspicions, and foul play was absolutely on the table at one point. Then there's the timeline. Kim allegedly called 911 at 2:43 a.m., but she wasn't found until around 11 a.m. the next morning? That's a huge gap, and no one ever explained what happened in those missing hours. To make it even more serious, not long ago it came out that Kim's family had lawyers involved, and they were considering a wrongful death lawsuit against Diddy. Why? Because they reportedly had physical evidence backing them up. So when Al keeps saying he knows something's off, he's not guessing. He's connecting dots. And here's something eerie. Almost everyone who worked closely with Diddy during Kim's time is gone. All dead. Except Alabama. Just think about that for a second. Kim wasn't just Diddy's ex. She was one of the original forces behind Uptown Records, starting out as Andre Harrell's assistant. She was loyal, long-term, and deep in that industry mix. And now, she's gone, under some very strange circumstances. It's starting to feel like a pattern, and people are paying real attention now. Heavy D, gone. Andre Harrell, gone. The only two still breathing from that tight inner circle? Diddy and Al B. Sure, and let's not forget, Al barely made it. He almost died too. Now tell me that doesn't sound suspicious as hell. Here's where it gets even darker. Heavy D was found face down, with a reported heart attack. Andre? Same thing, heart attack. Kim? They blamed it on pneumonia. But what's the common thread? All three were working on books before they passed. Andre was writing one. Heavy D had his in the works. Kim was reportedly getting ready to share her truth too. And Al? He was deep into a documentary when he suddenly landed in a coma. That's no coincidence. That's a pattern. Now let's talk about Kim's book. One unverified version hit the internet, but word is, that wasn't the real one. The actual manuscript was never released. And what it allegedly contained? Pure fire. It was said Kim had planned to expose everything, how she protected Al B from getting too close to Diddy, warning him not to show up at certain places because she knew what Diddy was capable of. She was ready to talk about being roughed up, isolated, and manipulated by him. And the most disturbing part? Kim allegedly revealed she used a strap-on to please Diddy and would break down crying alone after doing it. She suspected her home was bugged, her phone lines tapped, and even believed Diddy had people watching her every move. Oh, and he reportedly wanted full custody of the twins too. If this book really exists and sees the light of day, it could flip everything upside down. Allegedly, Kim had a line, and it was her kids. She made it clear, if Diddy ever tried to take her children away, she was ready to expose everything. That threat alone might have been the final straw. And from what insiders are whispering, her unreleased book didn't just target Diddy's private life, it took aim at the entire industry. One of the wildest claims? That both East and West Coast camps faked beef to get rid of Tupac and Biggie, also they could seize control of their masters. Word is, Pac and Biggie were about to unite and challenge both Bad Boy and Death Row over their music rights, and that couldn't happen. That's big-time money and power at stake. But Kim allegedly wasn't just going to spill tea on the industry. She was also ready to speak on Diddy's rumored relationships with other men, even claiming some were taken advantage of. One of the names that keeps coming up? Usher. Again, all alleged, but still explosive. Now the version of the book that did come out included some wild dirt on Al B. Sure too. One part allegedly describes Kim witnessing something that shook her to the core. Diddy and Al caught in an act that made her soul leave her body. She wrote that she had to walk out and go across the street to China, metaphorically speaking, because it was too much. In another alleged excerpt, Al told Diddy, "It's still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Diddy replied, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we've shared so much." Then Al said, "Coolly. Word." But the real curveball came when Diddy allegedly said, "We've all been together sexually, but not together." The room went dead silent after that. "This ain't your regular Hollywood gossip. This is something else." So here's how it allegedly went down. Kim asked, "What do you mean by all together?" Al got all fidgety, clearly uncomfortable. But Diddy? He didn't even blink. He said, "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" Kim's reaction? Total disbelief, like, "Oh, hell no, Sean. That's my son's father." She turned to Al, begging him to say something. And his response? "I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way." Yep, that's what allegedly came out of his mouth. And even though Kim was floored by Sean's boldness, she admitted she still had feelings for Al. The thought of both of them? She said it could be very hot, but she was torn. She didn't want it to mess up her current relationship. And most of all, how would Quincy feel if this whole thing blew up? Kim supposedly asked them both if they were sure. She imagined what it would feel like. She even pictured how awkward it might get, like physically awkward. But what allegedly happened next? She claimed it was something she never could have dreamed of, not even in her wildest fantasies. Now, let's be clear. Al has denied every part of this story. He publicly rejected the claims in the alleged book and even threatened to sue. But people aren't just talking about the content. They're talking about how Al reacted. See? Some folks say they just don't trust him. They think Al's been selfish and shady from the jump. Right after Quincy released a heartfelt statement saying the conspiracy theories about Kim's death were hurting him and his siblings, Al was still out here posting cryptic and strange content. And when that book dropped, Al seemed way more upset about his name being dragged than the stuff Kim allegedly went through. In his post about his upcoming memoir, he said he was lawyering up, but it sounded more like damage control than concern. That rubbed people the wrong way real quick. Al even went as far as publicly questioning why Quincy's still following the same man who allegedly laid hands on his mother. And while some folks are definitely side-eyeing Al, saying he's selfish or not the most reliable, I'll admit it. I'm still curious to hear what really comes out when he's on that stand. Is he about to drop more bombshells about Diddy? Or maybe finally speak up about what really happened to him during that mysterious coma? Whatever it is, I just know it's gonna be juicy. So what do you think? Can Al be trusted? Or is this just another attention grab? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this trial is only getting wilder by the day. And if you're into this kind of deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your people. I'll see you in the next one. And trust, it only gets crazier from here.